The Republic of the Seychelles is composed of 115 islands in the Indian Ocean, just south of the equator. When you fly into the airport on the largest island of Mahi, you will also see Praline and Digue, the next biggest, and many small ones that are sometimes empty and sometimes house exclusive hotels. Seychelles' population is about 100,000. Almost everyone is a mixed descendant of African slaves, French and English colonials, Indian and Chinese workers. The tropical islands are famous for their white beaches, lush vegetation, and wildlife like fruit bats and tortoises. Europeans love to come for weddings and romantic getaways. Tourism brings about 350,000 people a year to the Seychelles, and the country is proud that the numbers are increasing. Tourism is the main industry. It surpassed fishing and agriculture decades ago. Tourists want beautiful scenery, safety, and a welcoming population. But tourism increases pressure on resources, says Glenn Burridge, the editor of the Inside Seychelles Tourism magazine, such as fresh water, waste disposal, traffic, power generation, to say nothing of the sometimes unwelcome impact of tourism on indigenous cultures. Less wealthy tourism destinations, he writes, tend to be less resilient to mounting pressure as they try to achieve a balance between the development necessary for any nation's prosperity and sustainability. Digue is the smallest and least populated of the three main islands. It has one representative in the legislature, Praline has 2, and Mahi has 22. But Digue has the Anse Source d'Argent, one of the most photographed beaches in the world. The people are easygoing. Digue is like a country village compared to the urban capital of Victoria, and like country villages anywhere in the world, things change slowly. The culture and history of the Seychelles is palpable on Digue, and government policy is to ensure that there is a platform for elders to pass on skills in music, dance, boat building, gastronomy, crafts, and others. Every August 15th, Digue Islanders have an all-day party for the Catholic holiday of Assumption, which is also the name of their church. How can Digue's special character be preserved? Seychelles President Danny Fowler said in his 2018 State of the Nation address, "The global tourism industry is looking for an exemplary model of sustainability. Digue should be this model." While the government has policies for helping Digue become this model, the danger of over-tourism is already being felt. Motor vehicles have replaced the oxen that a few years ago did the island's heavy transportation. In the years since she grew up and became a physician, says 32-year-old Dr. Naomi Adeline, Digue has changed the most. The island has about 40 kilometers of main roads. In the ox cart days, they were dirt. Now they are cement. In 2010, there were a few pickup trucks and a police car. Following the Airbnb boom in self-catering rooms and the construction of new small and mid-sized hotels, tourism operators won permission to use electric vehicles like golf carts to gather tourists at the port. But growth breeds growth. More construction means more utility vehicles. The island needed a garbage truck. Resorts demanded motorized vans. Today there is a service station on Digue and no ox carts. While the government recognizes the problems of water, waste, energy, and over-tourism, investors generally want economic growth. They find reasons to demand exceptions to the goal of sustainability. Transportation is a large part of sustainability. Mackinac Island, Michigan, is an American example of a successful tourist industry without cars. Transportation on the Digue a few years ago was already perfectly sustainable, and the addition of motor vehicles was a step backward. In addition to their exhaust fumes, they make the roads more dangerous for vulnerable pedestrians and bicycle riders. In the capital of Victoria, cars rule the road as in any city. But the Digue is a village. Many drivers are already careful, but while the 30-kilometer-per-hour speed limit is low, some drivers of powerful vehicles have a tendency to use that power. What can be done? For the transportation sector, La Digue Vision 2032 plans to encourage owners to replace motor vehicles with EVs and hybrids, monitor the quota on conventional vehicles, promote walking, bicycling, and ox carts. While those long-term goals could eventually bring the Digue back toward perfection, in the meantime the government might require special training for drivers on the Digue, requiring them to put the environment and the comfort of vulnerable road users ahead of their own desire to get where they are going. That would go a long way to reducing uneasiness among tourists who seldom ride bikes where they come from. One way to help La Digue become an ideal tropical island for ecotourism is to encourage its politicians to be stalwart. President Faure, the Minister of Tourism, and the Honorable Nolene Sofola, who represents La Digue in the National Assembly, already support sustainable tourism in La Digue. But everyone knows that economic interests will always push to get an exception to the rules. You can let the politicians know that you support their mission for La Digue, not the exception.